Let me start with a question. What if the strongest version of you wasn't the one that fought the hardest, but the one that learned when not to fight at all? We live in a world addicted to force. Push harder, grind longer, be the loudest, the fastest, the flashiest. But the Tao Te Ching, especially in chapter 28, offers a radical alternative. Laozi writes, "Know the male, keep the female. Be humble toward the world. Be humble to the world, and eternal power never leaves, returning again to innocence." This isn't just poetry. It's performance strategy. It's about cultivating power not by dominating, but by integrating, not by inflating your ego, but by embodying wholeness. Let me tell you a story that changed how I saw this. Chapter 28. Of the Tao Te Ching, know the male. Know the male, keep the female. Be humble toward the world. Be humble to the world, and eternal power never leaves, returning again to innocence. Knowing the white, keep the black. Be an exemplar for the world. Be an exemplar for the world, and eternal power never goes awry, returning again to infinity. Knowing the glorious, keep the ignominious. Be open to the world. Be open to the world, and eternal power suffices, returning again to simplicity. Simplicity is lost to make instruments which sages employ as functionaries. Therefore, the great fashioner does no splitting, the paradox of power in disguise. A few years back, I was teaching a weekend seminar. The group was a mix, longtime martial artists, a few beginners, and one guy named Alex, who had recently returned after a long break. He'd been a top competitor in his 20s, but had stepped away for over a decade. Life, business, family, you know how it goes. Now in his early 40s, Alex was trying to get it back. He had that look in his eye, part hunger, part frustration. He pushed hard in every drill. Every partner exchange became a test. You could feel it, not angry, but trying to prove something. On the second day, I paired him with a woman named Celeste. She was quiet, barely said a word all weekend, but she had been training consistently for years. Small frame, soft breath, impeccable timing. The bell rang. They began a simple flow drill, one yield, one redirect, one breath. Alex came in with intensity. Celeste moved like the breeze slipping through half-open blinds. His strikes were crisp, her presence was cleaner. After a few rounds, he got flustered. "I'm not trying to hurt you," he said. She smiled, gently replied, "I know, that's why I'm not resisting." The class paused. Something shifted. She reminded me of chapter 28. Know the male, keep the female. This is not about gender, it's about energy, assertiveness and receptivity, expansion and containment, expression and introspection. The Tao doesn't say abandon one for the other. It says know both, keep both, and let them dance. Let's unpack how this applies to your life as a performer, leader, athlete, teacher, or entrepreneur. Know the male, yang. Direct your force. We all have a yang side, its drive, its clarity, it's the ability to set a goal, pursue it, and assert yourself into the world. In performance settings, this might look like going for the takedown, asking for the sale, launching the campaign, speaking up on a podcast or stage. Yang is essential. You don't rise in life without it. But Laozi warns us, if you only know the male, you lose power, because without yin, yang burns out. Fire without water becomes destruction. What's the antidote? Keep the female, yin, cultivate receptive strength. Yin is not weakness. It's the hidden root of power. It's listening before speaking, stillness before action. It's what allows you to feel rather than react. Yin energy is where your presence is forged. When you keep the female, you breathe before bursting. Receive feedback instead of defending. Rest deeply so you can act precisely. Yield under pressure to stay unbroken. In every high-performance arena, this is the edge that separates the great from the good. The athlete who pauses to read the field before striking. The leader who holds space during a conflict instead of rushing to fix it. The coach who lets silence teach. Keeping the female doesn't mean becoming passive, it means becoming wise. Why humility is a superpower. The Tao says, be humble toward the world. Be humble to the world, and eternal power never leaves. Humility is not insecurity. It's not minimizing your gifts. It's the opposite. It's having such deep confidence in who you are that you no longer need to shout about it. You no longer need to prove it. Humility is what lets you stay calm when praised, stay grounded when criticized, stay focused when challenged. And this is critical for performance mindset. Why? Because the ego loves to perform for validation, but true mastery performs for the craft, for the process, for the path. Humility returns you to the path, the strategy of integration. Many people try to pick a side, be strong or soft, assertive or quiet, relentless or patient. The Tao doesn't ask you to choose, it asks you to unify. Here's a strategy I call integrated strength. Step 1, acknowledge your natural default. Are you more yang, aggressive, driven outward, or more yin, receptive, inward, sensing? Know yourself. Step 2, practice the opposite, once a day. If you're fiery, try a yin reset, 3 minutes of silence, eyes closed. If you're hesitant, try a yang push, send the pitch, take the first step. Step 3, reflect on results without judgment. Did your choice create more wholeness or reveal an area to refine? Doing this daily creates an internal map of harmony. You begin to feel when you need to hold back or push forward, speak or listen, train or rest. It's no longer random, it's responsive. This is the embodied strategy of Tao. A friend of mine, a state champion wrestler, came to me after burning out. He was all fire, all force. Every match was war. I asked him, "When do you breathe in your match?" He said, what do you mean? I don't think about that. Exactly. So we trained his breath. We integrated yin into his performance. Slow inhales, pauses before gripping, feeling the opponent's rhythm. Within 3 months, he not only returned to top form, he started winning with less energy. His opponents were still fighting. He was flowing. He began to understand what chapter 28 meant. Simplicity is lost to make instruments. Therefore, the great fashioner does no splitting. We are taught to split mind versus body, strength versus surrender. But the Tao calls us to wholeness, to become the great fashioner who no longer needs separation to operate. Your daily practice, the yin-yang integration drill. Here's an action step to begin, the 3-3-3 practice. 3 minutes of silence, yin. 3 minutes of breath, plus posture alignment. 3 minutes of focused intention, yang. Do it first thing in the morning. Watch how it affects your day. Your presence will feel more whole, your actions more intentional, and your energy more balanced. Even just 9 minutes of integration will anchor you. Returning again to innocence. Laozi says, eternal power never leaves, returning again to innocence. There is nothing more powerful than a human being who doesn't need to posture, doesn't need to control the outcome, and doesn't need to be seen to be effective. That person has returned to the source. That person is unshakable because they know the male and they keep the female. They wield paradox as power. They lead not with noise, but with presence. And you can too. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to do 3 simple things. 1, like this video. It helps us share the message of the Tao far and wide. 2, share this 81-day Tao challenge with a friend who could use more balance, depth, and insight in their life. 3, comment below, what part of today's lesson spoke to you most? How are you integrating yin and yang into your practice? Let's keep walking the way together, one breath, one step, one insight at a time.